Oh. That's nice. Look at that.
There. That's the last of the Christmas cards. You won't forget to mail them in the morning, will you, dear?
What's that? Oh, yeah, sure. But see here, Helen? Doesn't this family know anything about the value of money? Can't you make them exercise a little restraint? Look at these bills. And there are 10 days yet before Christmas.
Things do seem to get more expensive every year. We do try.
What's this from the dress shop? Someone getting a new dress for Christmas? Well, I suppose that's a practical gift, but there's nothing practical about this price.
Oh, that's not a gift. Ray bought it to wear to the church program Sunday evening.
The church program? I thought they were having some kind of pageant. Won't she be wearing a costume?
Yes, that's right. But she still needs
Well, who is she going to be? Miss Merry Christmas 2024? For this price, she could go as Miss America.
She is taking the part of Mary in the manger scene.
So she'll kneel behind the manger with a sheet wrapped around her and a shawl over her head? For that, she needs a new dress?
Oh, stop your growling, Arthur. You're as transparent as a picture window.
Now, what is that supposed to mean?
You're no more concerned about these bills than I am. Now admit it. That's not what's bothering you, is it?
No, it isn't. Bills have always been a part of Christmas for us.
And it's not the things that remain the same, but the things that are changing that worry us most. Christmas isn't what it used to be, is it, Arthur?
Nor are we, Helen. Change is an essential part of life, something we have to accept. We're getting on, dear. Our children have grown up, even the twins. They'll be off to college next year, too.
And the house will be bigger and emptier than it's ever been before. But that's the way it should be. The children going out to live their lives. Oh, it's not just their growing up and leaving home. It's the way they changed. I try to tell myself it's because of the pressures and tensions of time, but I know better. Somehow in growing up, our children have grown away from God. Faith and devotion to Him are not qualities that belong exclusively to childhood. In the years we've had them, we failed them. We failed to impress these truths upon them. But what could we have done differently? How did we fail?
How? I've asked myself a million times. I don't know, Helen. I just don't know.
Well, they'll be all home soon. Christmas may be expensive, but it's worth every penny of it to have them back, even for one day.
But do we have them back? That cynical, disillusioned young woman with the shattered nerves and sharp tongue, is that our Vicky? And that brittle career girl with the false veneer of sophistication, is that the Connie we know?
No, Arthur, it isn't.
And Bruce is a drifter. He has no purpose, no goal in life. We're throwing money away on that boy's education. He's not preparing for anything. He isn't even studying. He has no interest in college, no interest in anything but living it up and having a good time.
And that certainly isn't our Bruce either. But why? What is happening to them?
I wish I knew.
Hi, you two. Why so glum? You look as if the whole world had settled on your shoulders. Don't you know it's Christmas? The season to be jolly?
Oh, that's what all these bills are about. I was beginning to suspect that you and your mother were planning a wedding.
Funny. I did a little more shopping this afternoon, Mother. What a rat race. It's getting worse every day. I took a taxi home. It's snowing hard. Did you know? Oh, here's the afternoon mail. There's a card from Connie. Says she can't come home for Christmas. Big office party Christmas Eve. It's really a must. Same old routine. She'd come if she wanted to.
Ray, that wasn't a nice thing to say. Your sister is busy, and her career is terribly important to her. You know that. Oh, look here. She says she'll make it for New Year's.
I wouldn't count on it.
Oh, good. Here's a letter from Bruce.
I can guess what that says. Well, please send money for plane fare.
What's this? It says he's bringing a girl, Julie Farnsworth home with him.
A girl? Bruce?
Oh, he's not immune, Dad. Did you say her name is Julie?
Yeah.
That must be the girl Randy told us about. Remember? The one he met that weekend he went out to go see Bruce and look the college over. Mom, he can't be serious about her. She's not one of the college girls, you know. The way Randy had it figured, he must have met her when he was out partying or something. You know the type. Made up like a painted doll, worldly looking. You're not gonna let him, are you? Randy said
Never
that.
mind what Randy said. Apparently, we have a difference of opinion here. Are you going to judge the girl before you've seen her and had a chance to know her for yourself?
I wasn't judging her. I thought you ought to know. I'm sorry I even mentioned it.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly.
Randy! Sandy! Where have you been? And where did you get all that stuff? And what do you intend to do with it?
You said you wanted some holly, didn't you?
Your wishes might come in, fair lady.
Especially the week before Christmas.
I guess I did say something about wanting some for a centerpiece, but I didn't intend for y'all to buy out the entire store, you know.
Look, there was a kid on the corner selling the stuff. He was cold and wet. It's snowing, you know. So
Don't tell me. Let me guess. You bought up his entire supply and sent him home to his mother.
Correction. We took him home. He lives on Pleasant Street. You know the place.
someone should start a Bible club down there for the kids in that section. They never come to Sunday school, but perhaps a club right there in their own neighborhood.
Sure wish I had time.
You could make the time, brother, if you really wanted to. I've noticed that the boys in his family usually do the things they want to do.
Hey, what's with you? You act like you lost your last friend.
Maybe I have lost my big brother.
Bruce can't come home?
Oh, he's coming home all right. Randy, he's bringing that Julie, what's her name, with him.
Julie, you've got to be kidding me. He wouldn't?
Oh, wouldn't he? There's the letter. Read it for yourself. And they're letting him do it.
Mom, is this right? You're really gonna let Bruce bring that girl here for Christmas?
Yes, Randy. Bruce is bringing a friend home for the holidays.
Mom, she looks like a cheap imitation of a movie star. All that goo on her face.
You know how Bruce throws his money around on a date. She probably thinks he's rich.
What's the matter with you three? Tearing a girl apart before you even know her? Now stop it, all of you. And remember, when Julie is a guest at our home, I expect y'all to treat her with courtesy and respect.
Your mother is right. Let's have no more of this
But
nonsense.
Dad!
What business has Bruce got dating a girl who isn't a Christian? Just tell me that.
None whatever, son. But that's not the subject under discussion right now. Bruce has the same right that you do to bring his friends home. Now, if you have reason to believe that this particular friend does not know the Lord, I suggest that you spend a little time praying for her. If you have time to criticize, you certainly have time to pray.
Okay, Dad, but it sure is easier to criticize sometimes.
Hello? Oh, yes. Yes, she's right here. For you, Mother, it's Vicky.
Vicky? Hello, dear. What's that? You're at the station. Oh, that's wonderful. No, don't call a taxi. We'll be right there. Of course not. Right away, dear. She's at the station, Arthur. She and the children.
Goodbye, peace and quiet.
I told her we'd be right along, dear.
Oh, of course. I'll get our coat.
Ray, you put some coffee. Randy and Sandy, take care of that greenery display. Oh, and slice some of that fruitcake. It's Vicky's favorite.
Sure. And some cookies and milk for the little monsters, right?
Right. No. Really, Ray?
No cookies or no milk?
No, they're not monsters. They're
Just try to think of a better word. Run along now before the little darlings tear the station down.
I wonder how Vic's getting along. She hasn't written for ages.
I suppose she's been pretty unhappy since her marriage went on the rocks.
Yeah, Henry too. You know, he's not such a bad guy. I don't think it's all his fault.
Well, aren't you the loyal soul? Better not let Vicky hear you say that.
No, I mean it. It takes two, you know. You know Dad went to see Henry a while ago?
No? When?
Not too long ago. I heard him and Mom talking about it last night. He was pretty broken up.
He hoped to work out some kind of reconciliation. No soap. You know what Henry said? He thinks Vicky is basically a very insecure and unhappy person. He doesn't think it has anything to do with him or their relationship to each other. It goes a little deeper than pretty quails, and so-called incompatibility, a guilt complex or something.
What a stupid thing to say. Sounds to me like he's trying to place the blame on somebody else instead of facing up to his own shortcomings as a husband.
Maybe, but he could be right. But he flatly refused any sort of reconciliation.
He thinks there's absolutely no hope for their marriage unless Vicky finds some kind of peace with herself. He thinks she should see a psychiatrist. But of course, Dad says she needs to get right with the Lord.
I'm with Dad this time. Poor Vic. She has certainly made a mess of her life.
Maybe, but you need to get some of that coffee on. It's her staff of life, you know?
Oh, and how about dropping a tranquilizer in those kids' milk?
Good idea.
Remember the last time they were here?
Remember? Could I forget? They used my cold cream to do a grease job on their trucks and filled up their water pistols with my good cologne.
And that wasn't the worst. Let us all hope that Vicky has learned when and where to apply the Board of Education.
Listen, did that car stop? They can't be back already.
It's a taxi.
There's someone getting out.
It's Bruce. Bruce and Julie?
Well, he certainly didn't give us much time to prepare for his honored guest. Now, did he?
Old Bruce sure always was a fast worker. Don't just stand there, kid. Roll out the red carpet. Looks like we've been elected as a welcoming committee.
Bruce! This is a surprise! We weren't expecting you so soon.
Julie, this is my sister Ray. How are you, little sis?
Oh, just awfully glad to see you, Bruce. How do you do?
Bruce has told me so much about you, Ray. I think you must be his favorite sister. I'm very glad to meet you.
And you've met my kid brothers. You remember Julie, right, Randy?
Of course. Nice to see you again, Julie.
Where is everybody? Mom and Dad home? I can't wait for you to meet them.
I'm afraid that pleasure will be slightly delayed. They've gone to the station to get Vicky and the kids.
Just Vicky and the kids?
Yeah, Henry will be trimming his own tree this year.
Here, let me take your coat. You might as well leave your suitcase right there until the folks get back. I don't know where Mother's gonna put everybody, but we'll manage, I'm sure. Now, if you'll excuse me, I was just gonna put some coffee on.
We'll help you, sis. You two, make yourselves comfortable. It'll be ready in a minute.
She's very attractive, isn't she?
Ray? I guess so. You two will get along just fine. You'll like her when you get to know her.
Oh yes, I'm sure I will. We'll get along just fine. Just fine.
Relax. What are you so nervous about?
Bruce, you didn't tell me there would be other guests. I'll just be in the way.
Vicky? She's not a guest. Her and the kids always come home for Christmas. They're part of the family. Don't worry, there's plenty of room. This is the most elastic house in town. That's the reason we bought it. Just wait until you meet Mom and Dad. Hey, there's the car now. Come on.
This should hold him for a while. Hey, Randy, they're here.
Here, you forgot the napkins. Here, let me set up the tables. So, what do you think of our house guests? Bruce sure can pick them, can't you?
She's about what I expected. Bruce should have his head examined.
Dad will probably have a talk with him.
Talk? Cutting off his allowance would be more effective, especially with a girl like that.
What are we getting so worked up about? It's not our headache. Is everything ready?
The tree is
It's a
so
beautiful
beautiful.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It took me forever to find those ornaments.
really
I had
did.
no idea that ground
us, Julie.
Are you Mrs. Davenport? Really? I was so afraid I shouldn't have come. But Bruce was very insistent.
Of course. I'm very glad you was. So, don't get another coffee.
Vicky! Hi everyone. Oh man, the traffic was terrible. I'm so glad to see all of you.
You must be tired, Vicky, after that long trip. Here, let me take your coat.
Oh, I am tired, Mother. Traveling with children is no picnic, I can assure you. Kids, don't grab. Wait until Grandma passes you the cookies.
That's okay. They're hungry. Aren't you, kids? How about a glass of
Now, Vicky, tell us all about yourself. How have things been going?
Please, Dad. There is nothing to tell. I don't want to talk about my problems. Everything is fine. All I want is a chance to rest. Then I'm going out and looking for a job, and I'll try to build some kind of life for myself without Henry, Dad.
But the children, Vicky,
I know what I'm doing, Father. Now, shall we just leave it like that? I'm sure Julie doesn't want to hear all about the skeletons in her family closet. Mom, do you mind if I make a cup of coffee?
Oh, I just put some on, Vicky. I'll see if it's ready. I should get the roast in the oven. We'll have supper late as is. Then I'll have a cup with you, dear.
Let's have it in the kitchen, and I'll help you with supper. I want some more milk.
You gotta say please, stupid. We're company.
Marty, you can't make me say please if I don't want to. Hey, Mommy, can I have some more milk?
Haha, you said it. Here, have some of mine.
Oh my goodness!
Just a minute, cowboy. You can pound them later. But first, let's get this milk out of your eyes so you can see what you're doing. Okay? Oh my goodness. Here, here's a little on your shirt. There, is that better? You know what I was thinking, Buzz? I've been cooped up in a stuffy old bus all day, and I just love to get out and play in the nice white snow. If I had someone to play with. You would? Uh-huh. I'd make a great big snowman. Or maybe a fort with a big pile of snowballs.
No, something. I could be you easy.
I don't believe you could.
Boy, a snowball fight.
Not you. Just me and her is gonna play.
I'll stand both of you. How will that be? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, get your coats on. Quick, before it gets too dark. First one yell, Uncle has to go to bed right after supper.
Boy, I hope you're good at sleeping.
Yeah, you're the one that's gonna have the nice quiet evening in your room.
Aren't you gonna take care of your girlfriend, Romeo? Don't you know those kids will pulverize her?
She's been in bigger fights.
Well, if you don't mind, we'll go referee. We promised Mom we'd keep them under control. And we can't let them start by putting a snowball through the window.
Well, son, it's good to have you home.
It's good to be home, Dad.
How is school? Are you liking it any better this year?
Same old grind. Something to do. It's okay, I guess.
Who is this girl, Bruce? That was a very thoughtful thing she did just now, taking the boys out for a little exercise. It's just what they need after a day of traveling. Tell me about it.
Getting out is what she needed too, I guess. She's feeling a little strange and out of place meeting everyone at once like this. Like I said, she's a friend of mine. It was okay to bring her home, wasn't it? I mean, Randy and Ray didn't seem too cordial, but I wouldn't have asked her if I hadn't felt sure she'd be welcome.
Your friends are always welcome, son. You know that.
She's really a nice kid, Dad. You'll like her.
She's pretty important to you. Is that it?
Hey now, wait a minute. Don't go jumping to conclusions. Sure, she's important to me, but not the way you mean. She's important as a person and as a friend. I asked her out a couple of times. I thought we could have fun together, but she didn't see it that way. Turned me down cold. Not very flattering, but that's the way it is.
Then why is she here? How does it happen that she was perfectly willing to come here and spend 2 weeks with you and your family if, as you say, she refuses to go out with you?
She wasn't perfectly willing, Dad. It took a lot of persuasion. Do you remember Tom Farnsworth? He was in my class last year. You must have met him. A tall, serious fellow, regular grind, We got to be pretty good friends in spite of it. Case of unlike subtracting, I guess.
Oh, yes, I remember him. I told your mother at the time that I hoped some of his enthusiasm for books would rub off on you.
Wishful thinking, Dad. It didn't.
I think I'm beginning to get the picture. This Tom is Julie's brother, right?
Right. He's her brother and a great deal more. He's all she has. Both their parents are dead. Tom didn't come back this year. No money, I suppose. Anyhow, he's in the service now and is stationed somewhere in Germany.
I see. So she is pretty much alone.
She's all alone, Dad. I saw Tom before he left, and he asked me to look her up once in a while, just to be sure she was okay. Naturally, I said I would. She works in a diner a short distance from the school. I go in once in a while for a cup of coffee, piece of pie, or something. If she isn't busy, we talk. Mostly about Tom. She lives in a pretty rough neighborhood, so if it's late sometimes, I'll take her home. And that's it. Because that's the way she wants it. But Dad, she needs someone to care what happens to her. Not a guy like me. Someone like Mom to love her and make a fuss over her. Someone like you to talk to her and help her accept the hard things in life. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, son, I do see.
She's a good kid, Dad, and goes to church when she can. She finished high school somehow, and Tom helped her when he got into college. She's lonely and frightened, scared to death something will happen to Tom. I couldn't just leave her to spend Christmas alone. That's why I asked her to come home with me. Believe me, it wasn't easy, but it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. But now, I'm not so sure.
It was the thing to do, son. And we'll do our best to see that she has a good time while she's here.
Thanks, Dad. Hey, girls! Did you forget about the men in your lives? How about a little more cake in here?
Put your finger on here just a minute. There. How's that?
Lovely, but do you really think Buzz will appreciate that bow?
That's not the point. I like my gifts to look pretty. And wrapping them is half the fun.
By the way, where are the little angels? They didn't eat some of their mother's sleeping pills. Now, did they?
Vicky took them to see Santa Claus. I sure don't envy her the privilege. Guess what Susie did?
Oh, what now?
She stuffed a pair of scissors in her pocket just before they left. She said she wanted to get a piece of Santa's beard as a souvenir.
I hope he didn't stop her. If you cross her, she'll only think of something worse. Did Bruce go too?
Yes, he's gonna help the kids pick out a gift for their mother. They'll be back soon, so enjoy the peace and quiet while you can. It's just the lull before the storm.
How does it happen you're not out buying all the last-minute bargains?
Oh, I just wanted to stay home and rest this afternoon. After that pageant last night, I feel like I've earned a little rest. Boy, I'm glad that's over.
Didn't you enjoy being in the pageant?
Oh, sure. It was fun. I mean, I wouldn't want to have missed being in it, but it is a lot of work. I was on the costume committee this year, and believe me, that's a headache. All the costumes and the confusion of getting everybody dressed on time. I'm just glad it's over.
It was beautiful, right? I'm sure you must feel it was worth all the time and effort you put into it.
I guess it was pretty good. Of course, Sandra forgot her lines and had to prompt twice. I knew she would.
Oh, and the angels. Bless their hearts. They didn't have their words memorized, so they had to carry hymn books.
What's wrong with that?
I just don't picture the heavenly host carrying hymn books.
I suppose not.
And that bathrobe Jim was wearing, where'd he get that? The Ark?
It was a little large, I guess, but the color was good.
Oh, and I thought I'd die when Joseph started sneezing. Didn't anybody know that kid was allergic to hay?
Don't! Please don't tear it all down and point out all the flaws. Nothing is perfect. But let me remember it the way I saw it last night.
You really liked it that much?
I loved it. The shepherds out on the hillside, the angels in their flowy white robes, the wise men following the star, Mary and Joseph, and the sweet little baby lying in the hay. It's such a beautiful story.
Everything about Christmas is beautiful, isn't it? I love it. All of it. Even the big rush to get everything done on time. What do you like best about it, Julie?
Oh, I don't know.
I know what Buzz and Susie like best.
That's just because they're little. We were the same. How many times has Mother reminded us that the important thing is not how much we receive, but how much happiness we give to others? It never seemed to register when we were their age. We were content to let others have the supreme joy of giving to us.
We were selfish little rats, weren't we?
Remember the Christmas I got that big dollhouse? Boy, there wasn't a happier kid in town.
And that was the year I got my first pair of hockey skates.
I remember. We've had such good times, haven't we? There's something almost nostalgic about Christmas. It brings back such good memories. Tell us, Julie, what memories do you have of Christmas?
I'm sure I'll always remember this Christmas, being here with you, the program last night.
I mean from the past. You haven't told us anything about yourself, and I'm sure you're not being truthful when you say there's nothing to tell. Christmas means so much to a child, and every family has its way of observing it. There must be something, one Christmas in particular, that stands out in your memory?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, of course there is. But if you'd rather not tell us, if it's that sort of thing, then
I don't know what y'all are talking about, but if there is something Julie doesn't want to discuss, there's no reason why she should, you know.
It's all right, Mrs. Davenport. Ray was just asking me about my family and my background when I was a child. I suppose she was thinking about Bruce and me and wanted to know something about my family and my background if I'm good enough for him. Isn't that right, Ray? Isn't that what you were leading up to?
well, suppose I am. You're not ashamed of your background, are you?
Ray, dear, don't be unkind.
Knock it off, sis. Let's just go back to wrapping presents.
No, Ray, I'm not ashamed of my background. Why should I be? I didn't create it, nor did I choose it, any more than you chose yours. And you're right. I do have memories of other Christmases. And that memory is like a knife twisting and turning that time could never heal. I came here for one reason, because I didn't want to remember. I should have known better. You can't run away from a memory. And since you asked me,
Julie, dear, don't.
Oh yes, I remember. I remember the Christmas I was 5 and Tommy was pushing 7. I can still see it. The chilly little apartment on the 4th floor back. The scrawny little tree in the corner where Dad wouldn't fall over it. There was no soft music, no bright twinkling lights, only the poor excuse for a tree and our 2 stockings hanging on the doorknob. Those, and that squeak of a cork in a bottle. It was to have been a wonderful Christmas. Tommy and I believed in Santa Claus, like your father believes in God. But it was spoiled before it began. I couldn't have told you why, but a child senses the misery around him, even when he cannot understand it. And there was misery and desperation in Mother's heart that Christmas morning. Her attempts at gaiety did not hide it from us. I remember clutching my one new toy in my arms and creeping away to my room to cry.
Julie, dear, don't do this to yourself.
Tom was only 7, but already he was beginning to think like a man. Because I cried, he had to destroy the thing that hurt me. Oh, there was a great deal we didn't understand then, but in a childish way, we related all of our suffering and unhappiness in our home, all of our mother's tears, the constant fighting and poverty, to that bottle on the pantry shelf. So Tommy watched for his chance. Then he snatched it from its place, and before anyone can stop him, he hurled it through the window, and it shattered into a million pieces on the pavement below. I remember the crash, and I remember my father, in a fit of a drunken rage, beating Tommy with his belt, beating him until he was bruised and bleeding where the buckle cut into his flesh. That's what I remember, Ray. That was a Christmas I'll never forget. A few months later, Mother went for a walk down by the river's edge and never came back. The next year, there was only 3 of us. Tommy, Daddy, and I. The three of us, and that squeak of a cork in a bottle. That was the year I stopped believing in Santa Claus and the baby in the manger.
You poor kid.
Now, Ray, if there's nothing else you'd like to know, will you please excuse me? I'm going for a walk.
I'll go with you.
No, please. I'd rather go alone.
Let her go, son. We can do that much for her wishes.
What a rotten thing to do.
Ray, I never knew you to be so unkind.
How could I know? I only asked if she...
You've been needling her all day, trying to warn something out of her family. Why couldn't you just leave her alone?
Well, who started it in the first place? Who was it that told me, even before Bruce brought her home, that she was a cheap little nobody from some back alley, that Bruce met her when he was out partying?
I did, and I take back every lousy, lying word I said. Couldn't you see I was wrong?
She does come from a poor background. You were certainly right about that.
So
You
what?
heard her.
What if her father was a drunk and her mother took the easy way out? Are we so much better because we have more advantages?
Ray, I never knew you to be so heartless. Don't you know that it's only because of God's grace that you've had a Christian home and the advantages your father's position provides? Julie needed a friend. You could have been that friend. She needed someone to introduce her to Jesus, the best friend of all. But now, you may never get the chance.
I tried so hard to hate her. I didn't want to like her because she's so wrong for Bruce.
And how do you know that?
It's too late now, isn't it? She probably hates me.
Can't blame her. Been a self-righteous little snob. But if you are willing to admit it, perhaps there's some hope for you. Where do you suppose she went?
I don't know where she could go off all alone like that. I just hope she is warmly dressed. That poor child.
Look, Grandma, Santa Claus gave us gum.
Buzz, you put that gum in your mouth this instant.
Why couldn't he have given him candy or a toy? Where's your gum, Susie?
I went back and stuck it in Santa Claus's beard. I don't like it anymore.
Susie, you did it!
It was just a mess. You can get another one.
Did you get something nice for Mommy?
I got a new.
Don't tell Stu that it's a surprise.
You leave me alone. I'm not telling. Grandma, I'm hungry. I'll swap my gum for some cookies.
You'd better take him up on it before he changes his mind. You're likely to find it stuck on your rug or something if you don't get it away from him.
Did you see Julie on your way home?
No. Was she looking for us?
Come on, Grandma.
All right, we'll have some lunch. I do wish she'd come back. I'm afraid I shouldn't have left her go off alone like that.
Go where? Where is she?
She said she was going on a walk.
So what's wrong with that? Has she been gone long?
Not long, but she was pretty upset when she left.
Upset? Why? What's going on here?
It's all my fault, Bruce. But she'll be back. Don't worry.
Look, you don't have to break it to me gently. Just tell me what happened.
Okay. We were talking about Christmas, about things we've done in other years. You know, when we were kids, how one thing leads to another. Julie wasn't contributing anything to the conversation. And well...
Go on.
Ray suggested that maybe she was ashamed of something in her past.
She what? Ray, what in the world is the matter with you?
So all of a sudden, she told us of her father being a drunk and her mother killed herself. Then she left.
Of course she left. Did she tell you too that her father was killed in a drunken brawl just a few months ago?
No.
Do you have any idea where she was going?
Not the slightest.
She will come back, won't she?
Why should she? Would you? We've probably seen the last of Julie, and thanks to you, she'll have another heartbreaking Christmas to remember.
What time is it, Arthur?
Going on 9.
That poor child. Where could she be?
We've looked everywhere. The temperature's falling fast. I just hope she's in somewhere where it's warm.
Bruce, did you call the bus terminal?
Yes, but they haven't seen her. I told you she didn't have any money.
Maybe we should call the police.
The police? That's the last thing she'd want. Being trailed like a criminal?
But do we have to just sit and wait? There must must be something we can do.
You've done enough already. Like I said, I don't think she'll be back. Where she'll go or what she'll do, I couldn't say. But you might as well go on with your plans for the evening. Weren't you kids going caroling or something?
I seem to have lost my enthusiasm for it.
Me too. I can't think of anything but the way Julie looked when she walked out of here. Probably just like her mother when
Stop it, Randy!
Say goodnight now, kids, and run along up to bed.
Not yet. Julie's not back, and she promised us a story.
That's right. We're not going to bed without our story. She knows some real humdingers. Mom, not kid stuff like Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
And tonight, she said she'd tell us the best one of all, because it's Christmas Eve.
Well, go up and get your pajamas on. Perhaps she'll be back by then.
No, we want to stay down here, don't we, Susie?
I said go!
I think we should all go and get some more cookies and pie.
what kind of pie?
Apple pie.
No lemon pie?
Not this year.
Come on, man.
Hello, Henry.
Hey, Dad.
What are you doing here?
It's Christmas. I need to see my family. You, Mom, my wife, my kids.
I don't think Vicky is expecting you.
She should. I love my family, my wife and my children. Every other weekend is not enough. Please, Dad, ask her to talk to me.
I'll ask her. But please be wise and don't ruin Christmas.
I'll be calm. Thanks, Dad.
Henry, why are you here?
It's Christmas, Vicky. We haven't been apart at Christmas for 15 years. I don't want to spend Christmas without you.
You saw us 10 days ago. I don't want us to upset the children nor ruin our family's Christmas.
Please, Vicky, let's go to dinner somewhere nice and exchange our presents with the children.
I don't think so. I don't want to get the kids all riled up, so please, don't make a scene.
All right, Vicky. I've been going to church and a counselor. This is something we should have been doing together. Will you just give us a chance?
Forget it! Please, leave!
Those two beautiful children are ours, not just yours. I love them and you. I'll be at the motel, but if you change your mind, please call me.
I'll think about it, but don't hold your breath.
Think about it and pray. I love you.
Here's some sweets for the sweet.
Thank you, dear.
Let's hide these presents under the tree before the twins come back. You know how they are.
Look at this car, Dad.
That's a nice one.
It's only 50,000.
Is that all?
Hey, there's a car driving in.
Who is it? Is it Julie?
Whoever it is, they're in a big hurry.
It looks like that car is...
It is! It's Connie!
Connie!
Connie, you're home! Oh, Mother, I had to come. It's Christmas. How could I stay away from all of you?
Hi, kids. It seems like ages since I've been here. I love you. Bruce!
Hi, sis.
So great to see you. Vicky, I've missed you terribly.
I've missed you too! I thought you had forgotten us all.
Absolutely not. How could I forget my family?
Hey, where are Buzz and Susie?
Oh, they're somewhere around here. Probably stuffing their faces with cupcakes and brownies and then wiping their hands on their new clothes.
Vicky, is Henry here? Or are you two still at odds?
It's over between us, Connie.
Oh, Vicky, life is too short for all this foolishness. Henry is a great guy, and he loves you and the children.
I don't want to talk about this now, okay?
Okay.
What happened? Did they call off your party?
Yes, tell us what happened.
Well, I was walking down the street, being shoved back 2 steps
each I could take forward. You know how busy it is with Christmas and all. I was in a hurry and had lots to do before the party. So, when I saw an opening in the crowd, I dashed around the corner and ran headlong into a man carrying an armful of bundles. The gifts went everywhere.
I bet he was pleased to meet you.
I assure you, my beauty and charm were completely wasted on him. He had a growl worse than anything you've ever faked, Dad. Where do you think you're going in such a hurry? Ordinarily, I would have snapped right back at him. But something about that growl of his reminded me of Dad, and I laughed instead. I'm going home, I told him, and I knew that is exactly what I was going to do. So here I am, and I'm so happy to be with my family.
We are all together. Now it's perfect.
Not quite, Mother.
Someday it will be perfect once we obey Scripture. Trust in the Lord and do good.
Well, I have a big surprise for everyone.
I know. You got me a four-wheeler.
Dream on, little man. This time I've been selfish, and this gift is all for me.
You finally bought the new Lexus?
No, better.
What could be better than a Lexus?
Dad, bring in the gifts.
Surprise, everyone! Meet Connie's present. Connie's boyfriend.
Who is this guy?
Hello, everybody.
Everyone, meet Tyler, the love of my life. Tyler, meet my loving, crazy family.
Hello, everybody. Connie said I should make a good impression. So I have a gift for Mr. Davenport, some flowers for Vicky, some flowers for Mrs. Davenport, and for the rest of you kids.
Connie, we need a little more detail about this present. What does it do?
We work together, play together, go to church together, basically everything.
You go to church together?
Absolutely.
When did this all begin?
About 8 months ago, I was hired as a manager. Connie and I had to work a lot together. I was smitten by Connie the first week, but she was just business.
Tyler began to grow as a great friend by sharing some musical tapes with me. Then he invited me to a musical cantata at his church. I loved the musical, and I found out he was a great guy.
Next, she went with me to the singles events on Friday nights.
Then I went on Sunday mornings, and he took me out to lunch.
Next, I invited her to play tennis with me. And, well, I fell in love. I think she did too. And so, I'm here to ask Mr. Davenport for his daughter's hand in marriage.
Son, you have it. I haven't seen my daughter this happy and content in years.
Connie, will you marry me?
Yes, I will.
Connie, I think you have a great present.
Well, I think we should all go and celebrate.
Hold on, wait a minute. I think I hear the carolers coming.
Let's just sit and listen. It used to be such fun, and it's one of the things I miss most. The carolers singing with their whole and meaningful songs about Jesus.
In our area, they sing songs like Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Henry always enjoyed the caroling. We used to go with the carolers when we were in high school.
I bet you made more goo-goo eyes than you did singing. How come you kids aren't with them?
We were sort of expecting someone.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Come in, kids. We have refreshments for you to warm up.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. It sure is cold out there.
Wow, this is wonderful hot chocolate. It surely is. And these cookies look amazing.
Sandy, we missed you and Randy. We needed you to help us.
We had Christmas company and expected them back very soon.
I knew it was important, or you guys would have been there.
I need to show my son-in-law around the place.
You're Connie, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I haven't seen you in a long time. Ray didn't think you were coming.
Well, I had a sudden change of plans. What is your name?
Rachel Miller.
Rachel Miller? Really? Do you perhaps have a brother named Matthew?
Yes. Do you know him?
Yes, I do.
Does she know him? I don't think she could ever forget about him.
Don't start, Vicky.
Rachel, Connie and Matthew were quite a team in high school. They had an experience that I'm sure neither of them will ever forget.
Well, I'll let Matthew know that Connie's here.
That's okay. I'm sure he'd rather forget about it.
It's nice to meet Ray's big sisters. I'm Kate. Vicky, it sounds like quite an interesting story. What in the world was their traumatic incident?
Vicky.
Bruce, do you remember the infamous experience?
You bet I do. I thought we would never get those kids detached from that fence.
For goodness sake, please tell us the story. It sounds very dramatic.
Believe me, it was.
Well, it was a cold, snowy day in December, and the two lovebirds had gone sledding. They were on one sled and came down a steep hill. When they were at the bottom of the hill, they couldn't stop the sled. It went zooming off across Old Man Thompson's field right into his barbed wire fence.
Did it land in cow patties?
Ew. Much worse. Matthew was hung in the fence by his floppy hair. Poor Connie, her braces were stuck in the fence. It was terrible.
Connie, I bet you lost interest in sledding for a while.
Oh, I haven't been since then.
That's unbelievable. Vicky, did you make that up?
Not one word.
Connie, does Vicky have any escapades like that?
Of course! With 6 kids, full of love and energy, there's all kinds of funny and sad experiences.
Tell us another funny story. One with Vicky.
We can't stay much longer.
Right. We have about 10 more houses to sing to.
Just one more story. Please, this is better than a movie.
Connie, tell about the roller coaster.
No, absolutely not. Please, I'm begging of you. Please.
Okay, short version. Vicky had been grounded for about 10 days.
That seems like forever. I couldn't see Henry.
A festival was going on, and all 6 of his kids wanted to go. Vicky was grounded, and Mom and Dad were too busy to take the little ones.
I agreed to take Bruce and Ray with Matthew and I. And since Mom and Dad couldn't go, they decided Vicky could take Randy and Sandy. But she could not go with any of her friends. And she could only have the little ones for 2 hours.
Of course she told Henry to just accidentally bump into us. She hadn't got to see him for 2 weeks.
All went well until about 20 minutes before they were to leave.
She just had to ride the Ferris wheel with Henry. Vicky bought 2 cotton candies for Randy and I and made us sit on a bench while she and Henry rode the Ferris wheel.
Then the nightmare happened.
Don't tell me you fell out.
No, I'm still here in one piece.
The Ferris wheel came to a grinding stop. And guess who was at the very top for all the world to see?
Vicky!
And Henry!
The funniest part was when Mom and Dad went looking for them because they didn't arrive home on time. Sandy was crying and Randy was laughing.
I bet he was furious.
He was after they got us down.
What in the world was your punishment then?
Another 2 weeks of going only to church and school. Dishes every night. And worst of all, no Henry for 3 weeks.
I thought I'd die. Also, not even phone calls.
Oh no. What's wrong, Vicky?
What a blind soul I've been. I love Henry. Mom, I love Henry.
Thank God you came to your senses. Now go get him.
I hope I'm not
That's never happened before. This is a story we could tell our grandchildren.
Wait till I tell my mom.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell some of my friends about it when I get back to school.
If they'll believe you.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you, Miss Davenport. Bye.
Bye. Oh, by the way, where's that girl who stayed with us? Didn't she come in?
What girl?
I don't know her name. I never saw her until the other night.
You know, the girl who was with you folks in church last night.
Julie!
She went caroling with you? Julie?
Sure. She was there when we got into church. Didn't you know she was going? She has a beautiful voice.
Well, thanks for refreshments and Merry Christmas!
Merry
Bye,
Christmas.
guys.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. Well, we only have one cookie left, so whoever gets it. Now, listen, if Bruce brings back Julie, if it is she, don't fire a lot of questions at her.
Questions? I don't want to ask another question for as long as I live.
Well, just remember that, all of you. Julie is under no obligation to explain anything, especially after this evening.
Hey everybody! I finally beat Connie at checkers. But Julie, we've been worried sick about you.
Worried? Why should you be? I said I was going for a walk.
Quite a hike, wasn't it?
Oh, Julie! Julie, I'm so ashamed of the way I treated you. Can you ever forgive me?
Tonight, I think I can forgive anyone. But there's nothing to forgive, Ray. I wasn't angry with you. You didn't know. How could you? You to whom Christmas has always meant joy and laughter. You've known nothing but love and security all your life. How could you know that to some of us, Christmas only means heartache and loneliness? I'm sorry if I worried you, Mrs. Davenport. I just had to get away for a little while.
Of course, no need to explain. I'm just glad you are all right. And now that you are here and Connie is home. Oh, forgive me, you two haven't met. Connie, this is Julie Farnsworth, a friend of Bruce.
Finally happy that Mom eventually introduced us. Shall we be friends too? It doesn't take much of a detective to see how special you are.
I'm happy to meet you, Connie, but Bruce and I are
Let
not.
it go, Jewel. You can't fight a matchmaking female. I still don't know how you wound up going to the church. That's the one place we didn't think to look.
Where else would I go? Where else in all the world would a lost, troubled soul go and search for peace?
Did you find it, Julie? Did you find peace?
The most wonderful peace, Vicky. I wish you had been there too. It was very quiet in the church. No one was rushing around. No one was talking. Just the organ playing softly and the sun streaming through the stained glass windows. I don't know how long I sat there, but gradually the turmoil left me, and I was aware of the deep sense of quietness within. And surprisingly, I was not thinking about myself, but about God. I suppose my mind was following the music, for as the organist played one carol after another, I was filled with a great wonder of what God had done, and a longing to know Him. The tears I had long refused to shed suddenly overflowed, and I wept. But it wasn't for little Julie in her poverty and loneliness, nor for Tommy in faraway Germany. It was for the sin that brought Christ to earth and nailed Him to a cross, and to all the other children who will grow up to know nothing but wretchedness and misery all their life, unless someone tells them He cares.
Surely you had heard the story before. I mean, everyone knows about the Christmas carols and the story of Christ's birth and death.
Of course. But if you never go to church, if you never read it, or hear it read from God's Word, and you have no one to explain it to you, you don't really know it at all. I've always thought of it as a part of a Christmas myth, like Santa Claus and his reindeer. But here in this home, I've met some wonderful people who believe it is true. Last night, for the first time in my life, I heard a man get up and tell why the Son of God had to come into the earth to live in poverty and die in disgrace like a criminal. He made me a part of that reason. Nobody ever told me that before.
So, you were just sitting in the church thinking?
I don't know. I suppose I prayed. If you call a lost soul reaching out for God prayer.
Yes, my dear, that certainly is prayer. Reaching out for God, making contact with Him.
The minister came to turn on the light just before the carolers came in. He prayed with me and answered some of my questions, but I didn't need him to tell me that Jesus Christ is real. He had already made himself real to me, and I knew that never again would I really be lost and alone as I was this afternoon. When I walked out into the night, the whole world looked different. Never had the stars shone more brightly, nor the air seemed more crisp and fresh. The carolers took it for granted that I was there to go with them, and I wanted to sing. I wanted to walk along the street and feel the snow crunch beneath my feet and call out Merry Christmas to everyone I met. I wanted to shout from the housetops that Jesus Christ is real, and it's not just a story. He came to set us free, and there is peace on earth for all who come to him.
That's the way I felt, Julie, the night I was saved. How could I have forgotten?
Did you? And did you want to go to Bethlehem and kneel as the shepherds knelt and worship the newborn king? Did you want to follow the star as the wise men and bring some gift to him? Did you want to stand on the hillside as the shepherds and hear the good news proclaimed? Did you feel that if you were really quiet, you can hear the rustle of the angel's wings and the message ringing out across the weary world? Behold, I bring you glad tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. I like that. To all people. To the privileged like the Davenports in their beautiful home in the suburbs. To the underprivileged like the Farnsworth on the other side of the tracks. To the kings and their palaces, and to the drunks who stumble and fall in the gutter. To the discouraged and the tired, the weak and the sick. To the priest in the monastery, and to the criminal looking out between the bars. Unto you, all of you, is born a Savior, which is Christ the Lord.
Amen. Julie, I don't know who you are, nor where you came from, but you found something precious that I lost a long time ago. Hold it close and don't let anyone nor anything take it, crowd it out of your heart and life.
I guess I got a little carried away. I didn't mean to go on like that.
Don't apologize. You said what I came home to hear. I know now why I came and what I have to do. Mother, Father, there's so much to talk about, so much to say, so much to catch up on. But first, you won't mind if I left just for a little while, will you?
Leave? Why? Where are you going?
I'm going to walk out under the stars, Mother, and see if I can find Christmas again, as Julie saw it tonight. I'm going back to the place where I once knelt and dedicated myself to Jesus Christ. Because not until I've been forgiven for these past few years, until I am once again His, and His alone, will I feel I have truly come home.
Will I be in the way if I walk along beside you, Connie? It's a long way back for me, but perhaps God can still make something worthwhile of the broken, tangled threads of my life.
Vicky, dear.
Perhaps for all of us there is some place, some high point in our Christian experience, some depth of dedication to which we should return this Christmas.
That's right, Dad. It's easy to drift along and be half-hearted short of a Christian. I know I'm not the Christian I ought to be or intended to be when I gave my heart to Christ.
Nor am I. You all know that, but oh, I do want to be. When I was saved, I felt just like how Julie feels tonight. The whole world looked different, and I promised myself that I would never fail my Savior, as I had seen so many other Christians do. But somehow, and I don't quite know how, I've lost that first enthusiasm, and
and my love for him has grown cold. Other things and other interests have grown too important. Even last night, I was so busy with the program that I completely missed the message. Tonight, I want to read his story just as God gave it to us and let him speak to me. I don't ever want to forget what Christmas really means.
Look, the church will still be warm. Why don't we all go together and rededicate our lives to him? Will you? Oh, I know you don't have to. You could do it here even. But it was there I found Christ, my Savior. And there I gave my life to him.
Of course. We'd love to go with you.
What about you, son? Will you come with us?
Not now, Dad. Perhaps later. I think I'll stay and talk with Julie.
I'll stay with the children, Mrs. Davenport. Thank you.
You know, Arthur, I believe the children have really come home for Christmas.
It's strange. It seems the miracle we pray for always takes us by surprise.
Bruce, I'm so glad you stayed. I wanted to talk to you.
Good. That makes two of us. I was afraid you'd think I ought to go.
All this is new to me, but you've lived so close to this all your life. Growing up in a home like this, going to church, and yet somehow you've missed it. Perhaps it was because it was so close to you that you took it for granted.
Maybe. Is that what you wanted to say to me?
Not really. I wanted you to know that today I received Jesus as my Savior. I went to him when I had no one else, and he received me. Don't ask me how I know. I can't explain it, but I know he did.
I'm very happy for you, Julie. That's great.
Bruce, won't you accept him too?
Won't I? Julie, you don't understand. I accepted him a long time ago, when I was a kid in high school.
You mean you've known all this? Known him? And you've never told me?
Well, yes. I didn't think you'd be interested.
All the talks we've had, all the things we've talked about, and you've never mentioned Christ, not once. Why, Bruce?
I don't know. I thought you would laugh at me if I got off on religion.
Would that have been such a calamity? What if I had laughed at you? I laughed at you when you asked me for a date, and you came back the next week and asked me again.
I thought you might change your mind.
Maybe I will, if you keep asking me. And what about Tom? You mean you've lived in the same dormitory all last year, and you've never mentioned him about Christ and what he can do for him?
No, I didn't, but I don't
And
think
when he went into service, when they sent him to Germany, you know how quickly things can blow over there. Did you tell him then? Oh no, the best you could do was so long, pal. Good luck. Bruce, if anything happens to Tom before he gets a chance to hear
Nothing
it,
is going to happen to Tom. You've got to believe that, Julie. But I can't blame you if you despise me. I've been a complete washout as a Christian. There's no excuse, so I won't try and make one. When I got to college with that bunch of self-styled intellectuals, I just didn't have guts enough to stand up and be counted for Jesus.
it isn't too late, Bruce.
What do you mean?
There's all of next semester, and it could be so different if you really wanted it to be.
When we get back, Julie, we're going to look up a real Bible-believing church. There must be one somewhere in the city.
When we get back. But now, there's a church just around the corner on Maple Street.
You know, if they walked, they're just about there now. I'll take the car. See you later, Julie. Oh, and wait up for me. There's something I want to ask you when I get back.
I may laugh at you, you know.
If you dare.
Hi, kids. We want our story, don't we, Susie?
You promised us, Julie, we want a real humdinger, because it's the night before Christmas.
I didn't forget. Come, sit here with me. You ready? The story I'm going to tell you tonight is the best one of all the stories I've told you before. And it's not the kid stuff, Buzz. It's a story for real men, And I want you to remember it always because it's the best story in the whole wide world. Now listen carefully. This story is about the only one who is born in the world who can choose his environment, the place where he would be born. He could have chosen a palace or a beautiful big mansion, but he chose instead to be born in a dark little cattle shed.
Why'd he do that, Julie?
I'm not sure, Buzz, but I think maybe it was for me and for all the other people who live in humble places of the earth. You see, the gift that God gave to the world that night was given unto all people, everywhere.